Hi guys, welcome. I thought this would be an interesting video. So as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I have a large majority of Zoya polishes in my collection. But I thought this would be an interesting video to kind of talk about some of the polishes that I have on my wish list for the next Zoya sale, as well as some polishes that I always hesitate on. So they always kind of sit in my wish list box, and they're polishes that I kind of go back and forth with. So whenever there's a sale, I always kind of go back and forth on whether or not I want to buy them. And so they're just kind of those, I wouldn't call them lemmings, but they're just those polishes that I'm always like, oh, I should get that, but I never really do. So I thought this would be a fun video just because, I mean, I thought it would be interesting for you guys to kind of see what polishes I don't have in my collection that I'm interested in, because a lot of these on my wish list are not necessarily new polishes. A lot of these are kind of old polishes, and like I said, they're just ones that I always just, I'm on the fence about on whether or not I want them. So I thought this would be interesting, and then also I thought this would be a good way for you guys to interact. So if you guys have any of these polishes, I would love to get some feedback, because a lot of times when I hesitate on polishes, it's because I can't really get a good idea of what the color is. So if I've looked at a bunch of swatches online, it's always like, oh, I can't really tell if this color is close to this color or if it's a color, you know, that I want. And so sometimes I hesitate because it's either a color I can't necessarily tell what the color is, or if it's just a color that I don't necessarily wear all the time. And so I just don't know if I can warrant having a bottle of it in my collection if it's not going to get worn that often. So that's what we're going to talk about, and like I said, I would love to hear some feedback if you guys have any of these polishes. Let me know what you think on them, on whether or not, you know, they're worthwhile purchasing. And yeah, maybe next go around when there's a sale, which I'm guessing probably Earth Day is probably going to be the next sale, maybe in April. We'll see what I end up purchasing. Let's go ahead and talk about some polishes that I have on my wish list. So I've got my laptop here, and I will throw up some bottle shots of the polishes we're talking about, just so you guys can get a visual of what it is I'm talking about. So the first two that I'm going to talk about are ones that are always on people's kind of wish list for Zoya, and that is Ziv and Trixie. And Ziv and Trixie are Zoya's foiled gold and silver polishes, and I think Ziv would be a nice gold, just because I usually don't go for brassy golds, and I've heard that Ziv is more of like an antique gold, so it's a little bit more, it's not as yellow, but at the same time, I just don't wear a whole lot of golds and golds and silvers, and so I already have a few silvers and gold. Do I have any golds? I don't know if I have any golds. I got a couple holographics, and I've got like Tomoko, which is kind of like a yellowy, but I don't know if I'd really necessarily called it a gold, but I don't even know if I have a gold in my collection now that I'm thinking about it. I've got some like gold-esque colors, but I don't know if I have an actual gold, so maybe I do need a gold. But yeah, I don't really wear gold that often, so I've always hesitated on it, but I know everyone loves it, so I feel like it's a polish I should add. Trixie, I have a couple silvers. I really don't wear that much silver, so I just don't know if it's something I want to add to my collection. I mean, I have Essie's Chrome is Where the Heart Is, and I've never worn it, so should I really get Trixie? I don't know, but everyone usually loves it. So there's those. The other one that I always hesitate on is I don't have, now that I have stamping polishes, I now have maybe a white, but I don't have like a bright, stark white polish. So for a while there, I didn't do a lot of nail art when I first started collecting polish, and I would never really wear stark white as a manicure unless I was doing nail art, so I think that's why I always hesitated. But I think at this point, like I said, I do have a Bundle Monster stamping polish in white, but I don't think I would ever want to wear that as a mani. So the one, I go back and forth in between Zoya's Snow White and Zoya's Purity as far as like which white I should get. I've heard Purity be like one of the more popular shades just because it's a little bit brighter than Snow White, but I do probably need like a stark white in my collection. So I go back and forth between Snow White and Purity, but like I said, I don't really wear stark white that often, so it's just not something that I'm always like, I'll put it into my cart and then I'll take it out of my cart because I'm just like, I don't know if I really need it. So I probably should get a white color. So one of those is usually always on my wish list of like, hey, you should probably get a white. Next up are some nude polish shades. And the ones that I have as of right now that I think I need is Brittany, which is a satin, and Jill. And both of those from swatch pictures look pretty close to Zoya's Rue, which is one of my favorites. They both look a little bit more saturated of a pink than Rue. Brittany, again, is a popular shade that people talk about quite frequently. It's a little bit of a warmer pink. So that I think I would like. Jill, I always hesitate on because, again, I think it looks really close to Rue, so I just don't know if it's something I'm going to pull all the time. It looks like it might be like slightly more saturated of a pink than Rue. But then again, I also have Brigitte, and I also have, you know, I have Mia now. Is Mia close to Brittany? I don't know. So those are two that I'm always kind of hesitating on just because I think they're really close in color to some polishes I already have. Another one that kind of snuck on the list recently is Lorna, which is a pixie dust. And it looks to be kind of this, they call it a luscious berry, which looks pretty. But I think the last pixie dust I purchased that kind of looks like this is Noir. And I'm not really super crazy about Noir, so I'm always kind of hesitant on getting another pixie dust in that color because I just don't wear Noir very often. Noir looks like a little bit more red tone than Lorna, so I might like Lorna a little bit better just because it's like a berry shade. But I've been kind of hesitant on buying pixie dusts recently just because I just don't wear them that often. At least, you know, ever since, I don't know, I want to like that color, but I don't know, it makes me nervous because I just think it looks too close to Noir. So Lorna's on there. One that I'm definitely getting next time, two that I'm definitely getting next time, are Zoya's Lesley, which is a really pretty, and again, it's one of those where it's like, I have a bunch of purples, do I need another purple color? So Lesley is kind of like a orchid purple, but it looks like it's really close in shade to a bunch of other purples that I already have. But the difference is that this has like a very light blue flash in it that looks really pretty. And again, it's one of those on everybody's kind of favorites list. But I always hesitate because I just think I probably have stuff in my collection that is already similar to Lesley. So, but I've heard a whole bunch of people talking about it recently, so I think I'm probably going to end up purchasing it. But yeah, it's just always one of those, like, I feel like I should get it and I just never do because I just feel like I already have something close to it. And then the other one that I'm definitely going to get next round that is going to be Caitlyn. And Caitlyn is this kind of like grayish purple color. And again, it's on everyone's kind of favorites list, but it's always just been a color that I assume I probably already have a color close to. To me, Caitlyn reminds me of like a darker or a lighter version of Zoya's Kelly. And yeah, I've got a couple like these like grayish purples, so I just always hesitate in getting it, but I feel like a lot of people have suggested it recently, so I think I'm probably gonna take the plunge and go ahead and grab that. A couple greens on my list, Zoya's Wednesday, which is kind of I think one of the reasons I've hesitated on getting Wednesday is just I can't really tell what kind of color it is. Is it a mint? Is it like a aqua color? I can't really tell what kind of color it is. If it's a mint, I don't know if I really need another mint in my collection, but it looks like it almost has kind of like an aqua, kind of turquoisey, tealish vibe. So, and again, the thing is like, I don't really wear a lot of those colors. So it's like, do I need Wednesday? Am I gonna wear it that often? Ugh. So that's kind of why I hesitate on Wednesday. The other one on my list is Tilda, which is this like bright kind of like grassy green color, which every time I see it, I always love the color in the bottle. I think it's amazing. I even saw it at Ulta one time discounted, and I talked myself out of buying it because I just don't think it's a color I'm gonna wear, if at all. I could wear it as nail art if it stamps well enough, but I just think it's such a pretty green. I just don't know if it's a green that I'm gonna wear. Sorry about that, my battery died in my camera. So as I was mentioning, Tilda, it's just a color that I always see and I think looks so beautiful. It's just a color I just don't think I'm gonna wear, so I can't really justify. Hang on, I'm gonna move you real quick. So I just don't know if I can justify purchasing it, but it's always on my wish list of like, I feel like I should get that. Finishing up, I've got, let's see here. Oh, Zoya's website is being super obnoxious today, so I'm going to talk about this color because I just saw it, but I'm having trouble getting back to it. So the next one on my list is Zoya's Coco. And Coco was one of those, I think this is probably one of the ones I've had on my wish list for the longest time. And it's one of those that, again, I just can't really tell the color on it, so it's why I always hesitate. And I think Coco, for a while, I really wanted it because I really wanted some like dusty, kind of like warm, rosy, pinky, like reddish pinky colors. And so I could never find any to fit the bill. I have one by Pacifica, which I've featured here before, called Desert Princess, which is kind of like this warm, like orange, like this like rosy kind of warm pink that I really like during like the summertime. And it kind of transitions a little bit into fall, but I wear that a lot. But I was trying to find a couple more colors similar to that. And Coco was one that I found, but I could just never find a really good swatch photo of it. So I could never really get a good idea of like how pink it was. Like it does have a little bit of brown in it, so I hesitated on wondering on whether or not it was like the color I wanted it to be. But I recently saw it on one of the girls I follow on Instagram. I believe her handle is at Hey Mercedes. She featured it as a manicure a couple weeks ago and I really, really liked it, and she highly suggested I get it. So I think that's probably going to be another one that I pick up here soon, just because I've been hesitating on it for so long that I feel like I should just go ahead and buy it. And then next up is a relatively new one, which is Zoya's Amy. Amy, I've heard a couple people talk about recently, and so I went ahead and added it to my wish list. Again, it's kind of like Tilda, like it looks really pretty in the bottle. It's this bright orange, this like bright reddish orange with like an orange kind of like, it almost looks glass flecky, this orange shimmer in it, so it looks very fiery and you know, just really like crazy bright and fiery on the nails. But again, I don't wear orange that often. Is this a color that I'm going to, you know, wear a lot? I don't know. So that's kind of why I hesitate on it. I feel like a bunch of people think it's pretty, but I just don't know if it's something I'm gonna wear that often. So I do hesitate on that one. And then the last one is the one that just recently came out, which is Brighton, which came out in the mystery bag, Zoya mystery bag around the holiday time, and it's also featured in this new like re-promote of bridal colors that Zoya is doing. And Brighton is a nude scattered holographic, and so my hesitation with Brighton is I have the other, I have the Pixie Dusts in Tomoko and Godiva, and so I worry that that Brighton is too close in color to them. Tomoko is a very yellow gold kind of color, so I don't think they're very close in color, but I don't wear Tomoko that often, so do I really need another, you know, nude color in my collection? But I think Godiva and Brighton are pretty close in color. I did have a friend of mine, oh my god, why can't I think of her? Angie, who has a YouTube channel, which I will link down below. She very kindly swatched a photo on her Instagram and showed me. So there is definitely a distinction between Brighton and Godiva. Brighton looks to be a little bit more nude, which is good because that's kind of what I was hoping, was that's kind of what I would like, is like a nudish color. So I think I might end up getting it just because I think it's close enough. It's not close enough to Godiva to where I don't think they're dupes. So I think I may end up picking that one up around you know, the next go around for Zoya sales. So that is it. I thank you so much for watching. I know this is probably going to be a short video, but I didn't you know, I thought this would be an interesting video of like, you know, what am I on the lookout for? I know it probably seems, after all of these Zoya videos, I know it seems like I probably have like every single Zoya known to man, but there are a few that I have held out on, so I think I don't really know what's going to end up happening. You know, sometimes I go in thinking like I'm going to get this polish, and then sometimes I talk myself out of it. So we'll see next sale what I end up coming away with, but I would love to hear, again, if you guys have any suggestions of like some polishes you guys love to wear, or some that I haven't mentioned. Let me know. I'll let you know if I have it, or if it's, you know, or if it's something I should add to my wish list. I would love to get some recommendations, because sometimes the color descriptions and the colors that Zoya puts on their website are not always the greatest representations of the colors, so I think that doesn't really help me when I'm trying to to figure out what I want to buy. So I'd love to get some feedback from you guys. So that is it for today. I hope you guys are having a nice day, and I thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.